That's Hello John Got a New Motor by Alexie Sayle. You'll find out why I'm playing that in a minute. It's Friday morning. Time to read your stories this week from the writing class. And they're brilliant, as ever. When we set this writing challenge on Monday, it was an idea by a lady called Eve Payton, a girl called Eve Payton. And I thought, this is a great idea, but it's quite difficult. And I wonder if anyone will rise to it. Will anyone be able to do it? And you really, really did. We had some amazing stories this week. Like great stories from the people who always write. Penny sent a story again. She never misses. It's always great. Isabella Pennychute, who wrote some great stuff a few weeks ago, sent me the first chapter of a novel called The Change. It's huge. It's really, really brilliant. And I really, really hope you keep writing it. But this week I'm going to try and read stories by people whose stories I've not read out before. And I'm going to start with this one, quite hard to read, which is called The Tricky Decision. And it's by Tilly Phillips. And it's so good. It's so surprising. So surprising. Not at all what I was expecting. All the stories this week were really, really, really surprising. And I love this one. I'm going to read a little bit of it. It's called The Tricky Decision. It's by Tilly Phillips. There once lived a girl named Sophia. And Sophia was not the normal size for her age. She was the size of a thumb. She slept in a little bed in a doll's house. She went to school like you and me, but she didn't walk. No, 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 no. I love that. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. She had a lift in her brother Leo's pocket. And when Leo arrived at school, he took Sophia to her classroom and handed her to the teacher, who sat Sophia on the desk. And instead of having a book, she had to write on a post-it note. She had a mechanical pencil, lead, and she had a normal-sized rubber which she takes little bits off. Oh, isn't that a beautiful detail? She's got a normal-sized rubber and she cuts little bits off it. It was break time, and Sophia was sat on the windowsill watching the children playing. She was sad because, she found she wanted to join in. Suddenly, an unusual creature landed next to her. It was a ladybird with sparkly gems for wings. The ladybird asked her, "What's the matter with you?" "It's just, I really want to know what it feels like to be a girl like all the other children," she replied Sophia. The ladybird said, "Oh, I can help with that." And with that, she flew off. When Sophia woke up the next morning, she felt very strange. She was no longer in her bed, but lying on the floor next to her doll's house. She stood up slowly and realised she was the same height as everyone else. Her mother looked at her and dropped her coffee cup to the floor. She asked Sophia what had happened, and Sophia explained, right? So isn't that a brilliant setup? But there is a twist. And where is that twist gone? It is here. Frank, there is a twist because after a week, you'd think Sophia would be happy. Sophia realised that she missed sitting on the teacher's desk and writing in Leo's pocket. She missed being special. Being normal wasn't as fun as she thought it would be. The ladybird landed on her nose and asked her why she seemed so sad after she got her wish. Sophia said she missed being small. It was what made her special. The ladybird asked her if she wanted to change back. And that is the moment that Sophia has to make her tricky decision. Such a great story. Now I've got a story from Robin, who was worried that she'd sent it in late, or he'd sent it in late. This is a great story called Margaret and the Cucumber Cake. So I'm going to read you this one now. Once upon a time, this is so great. Well, these are all so unexpected. I was really surprised at what you did with these stories, and you really rose to the challenge. I want to say all the stories that came in this week were terrific and very, very surprising. And I think the best thing that any writer can do is surprise you. So you've really, really come on. Those of you who write every week, I'm so pleased that you do. And I love to watch you getting better and better and more ambitious and more surprising. And so this is Margaret and the Cucumber Cake by Robyn. Once upon a time there was a tortoise called Margaret. And she lived on Longby Island, and she would eat practically anything. This is such a great start to a story. And she was a very happy tortoise. But then as she grew older, she began to be picky about what she wouldn't eat. And that eventually the only thing she would eat, because it was cucumber, which was her favourite fruit. Visitors would come to the island and try to feed her, but every time someone gave her something apart from cucumber, she would nip them. So people stopped visiting, and she became a lonely tortoise. Now it was her birthday, and she had eaten everything except red. How did you think of this? And she had eaten everything except red apples, and she hated red apples. Her big 200th birthday was just going to be like her previous ones, sitting on the grass, eating nothing but her favourite fruit, all alone. She was about to settle down for her birthday nap when she heard the purr of an engine. It was a truck that looked strangely similar to the truck that brought her to the island. Tortoises have amazing memories. When she looked at the woman who stepped out, she recognised the logo on the T-shirt. Obviously, tortoises have a great logo memory. Logo on the T-shirt, and she saw a name tag on the T-shirt, and it said Jane. Maybe they were related, Jane and Lydia, or maybe they weren't. Oh, sorry, that's the same logo that Lydia wore. Margaret thought, Lydia is the name of the woman who brought Margaret to Longby Island, but as she moved into view, she saw the name tag on the T-shirt said Jane. But maybe they were related, Jane and Lydia, or maybe they weren't, but either way, she then brought out a humongous cucumber in the shape of a magnificent tortoise. Margaret was so over the moon, she nearly flipped over onto her shell because the truck was literally just 2 meters away. She sprinted as fast as she could to the cake, and after about 2 hours, she finally... she finally reached Jane, who picked up Margaret and embraced her in a big warm hug. I wasn't sure if you'd still be here. I love that it took 2 hours. You would still be here or not, said Jane, and then she walked up the hill with Margaret wrapped in Jane's arms. She put Margaret down where the view of the mighty waves was glorious and went back down the hill to get the cucumber cake. And when she got back, she set the cake in front of Margaret. Blow out your candles, she said. After a minute of Margaret trying to blow out her 3 candles, spelling out 200, she finally blew them out. Then she sang happy birthday to Margaret and said a few hip hip hoorays. I'm so sorry I couldn't make every birthday like this. It's just because I only found out about you last week because I was sorting through my grandma's stuff when I came across a beautiful leather book. I looked inside, it looked like a diary. I had a little skim through and it mentioned a tortoise called Margaret. Grandma talked about how happy you made her and that she was sad to set you free into the wild. She loved you. She loved you so much. And the reason I came here to give you something special for your 200th birthday was in honour of my grandma and because she loved you. And I love you too. And I always will. And I'll always come back on your birthday. Margaret looked up at Jane. Jane could tell Margaret loved her too. There was a twinkle of gratitude in her tortoisey eyes. And then they just sat on top of the hill watching the sunset together while Margaret ate her cake. Isn't that brilliant? You can see what I mean about how surprising that story is. I had no idea where that was going. We've got another story now. We've got 2 more stories. We've got stories from Harrison, who wrote a ton of stories a few weeks ago, and they were completely brilliant. And they are on a separate clip, and they're being read for us by Alexie Sayle, which is incredible. And Matthew has written a really, really wonderful story, which is about to be read for you by someone absolutely extraordinary. She's a brilliant, brilliant writer, brilliant director, amazing actress and mum, and just a comedian. She's just dead funny. She is a one-person talent show, and it's Alice Lowe, and she's going to read a story by Matthew. Matthew has written a great story, and also Matthew raised £2,000 for charity this week in his garage. So look at the other 2 clips. There's Alexie Sayle reading Harrison's story and Alice Lowe reading Matthew's story. See you on Monday.
Excellent short story written by Harrison Wingrove. My Other Sister is a Koala by Harrison. A few days ago, if somebody asked me the question, could the world be run by animals, I would have said no. But now I'm not so sure. Scientists have made a new breakthrough. Humans thrive and live longer with animal metamorphosis. They've created a serum that replaces our head with an animal head. give the same skin in print as an animal, gives us all the good abilities of that animal. When you take the serum, it isn't just any animal that you change into. It is an animal that suits your personality. Everybody in the world has taken the serum, including me and my family. My mum is a horse, my older sister is a wolf, and my other sister is a koala bear. As for me, I am a fox. Relatives of cats and dogs are very common in this world, so a lot of people are wolves or lions. And here's a riddle also from Harrison Wingrove. I wear a suit of armour with a helmet on my head, but people remove my armour and pour out my insides until I'm dead. The answer is a pen. Might do that again. I wear a suit of armour with a helmet on my head, but people remove my armour and pour out my insides until I'm dead. And the answer of this riddle is, I am a pen. I don't know whether I'm supposed to introduce myself, but I'm Alexie Sayle, and during lockdown I've sort of let myself go, so I look like a kind of hostage. Anyway,
Wonderful World of Baby Boy by Mathews, age 9. I know this may sound weird, but I am kind of like a boy immortal jellyfish. You see, I'm currently 6 years old, but it was my first 13th birthday 14 years ago. I was so excited, as it was the day before my 13th birthday. I went to bed. My mum and dad were woken up by crying. They went into my room, and there I was, as a baby. The weird thing was I still had the brain of a 13-year-old. Most kids are only a baby once, but I have been more than once. I'm dreading my next 13th birthday. It was a particularly bad turn into a baby episode last time. I woke up on the day of my 13th birthday. I was delighted as I wasn't a baby. My happiness levels soon dropped as I turned into a baby in the middle of a maths lesson. I didn't know it had happened until I thought, hang on, I can't see over my desk. Oh no, not again. I could still walk because my brain was still 13. I hid behind the classroom blind and waited. I had smuggled my phone into school, so I texted Mum and Dad. As I had stubby fingers, the message read, "Help, a kwamab's baby a grape." What I was supposed to write was, "Help, I am a baby again." Curse these tiny fingers, I thought to myself. I needed to go to the toilet. This was going to be a problem. I ran across the floor, out into the corridor and into the toilet. I had only just thought about how I wouldn't be able to reach. Luckily, I found some toilet roll. I made a makeshift set of toilet roll stairs. Using them, I bravely scaled the toilet. I came out of the toilet and the lunch bell rang. I crept into the hall. I picked up the only sandwich I could reach. Oh, it was a sprout sandwich. Better than nothing, I thought. Now I needed to blend it so I could eat it. I went into the kitchen unnoticed because I was so small. I blended the sandwich. Once I did, I got a text from my mum. It said she was at the office. She came and took me home. What a day.